Jim Hawkins and the Power of Perspective. Jim Hawkins is an interesting case study. He has written almost completely the opposite of how you're supposed to write a character. At the beginning, he's a gopher at his parents' inn, and he manages to take the all-important pirate map. Then he becomes a cabin boy, finds out about the conspiracy, warns the captain, gives Silver the slip, meets and befriends Ben Gunn, fights the pirates in the initial stockade fight, cuts the Hispaniola's anchor line, catches up, and manages to both recover the ship and kill the lone pirate defending it. He is then captured, is right at the central part where the treasure is found to be missing, but is completely ignorant of what is going on the whole time, and somehow gets out alive and rich. Being a cabin boy, Jim is 13 to 16 years old. He is explicitly, completely, and utterly untrained. His successes, with the sole exception of cutting the Hispaniola's anchor line, are 100% due to luck, and he was completely and utterly passive in the grand climax. Somehow, despite breaking every single writing convention about how a main character should be active, Jim Hawkins became an all-time classic. How? I think the key lies in one point about Treasure Island. It's written in first person. We can see Jim's thoughts the entire time. His successes of finding the map and the conspiracy, instead of being the wily achievements of Marty Stew the Plot Armored, come across as a series of dumb luck caused by being in the right place at the right time. The climax works because Jim, like the reader, is genuinely surprised when the trap of the missing treasure is sprung. In short, the smart stuff is being done off-page by the adults, and you are seeing what is happening through the limited and imperfect filter of a child. This allows the book to get away with a nearly full passive main character who only has 3 active moments: running from Silver when he comes on shore, cutting the anchor on the Hispaniola, and investigating Israel Hands when he thinks he's alone. To compare, every film adaptation had to make severe changes to Jim's character. Either they made Jim older, such as being 17 in Treasure Planet, or 16 in the 1990 version, or made severe changes to the story. The most faithful version with a young Jim was probably the 1950 version, starring a 13-year-old Bobby Driscoll. However, that one still had Bones give Jim the map, expanded his relationship with Silver, removed most of the Coracle adventure, and made Jim's capture central to Silver acquiring the map. Others, such as the Muppet version, are effectively unrecognizable for much of the storyline. One key point that adaptations have taken is significantly changing the finale. In the book, they make for the nearest Spanish port, and Ben Gunn lets John go with a few bags of treasure. Smollett is upset, but Jim is just glad Long John is gone. However, since 1934, essentially every adaptation has had it be Jim that lets Silver escape, with Silver having the opportunity and then refusing to shoot Jim. It's one of the most critical, iconic scenes in the movie, but it's completely absent from the book. It's just like the Scrooge Goes Collecting scenes in every Christmas Carol. It's an iconic part of all the adaptations because it's critical for character development, but it is shockingly absent in the original. It's interesting. You can get away with a lot of stuff with first person, including a much more passive protagonist than you would otherwise be able to get away with. Anyway, just some interesting rambling, thinking things over. Thanks for listening, y'all.